I want to welcome Khoury and Michael and George from the great work they did in 2019. Our association, Sports ETA, does recognize 12 of the best each year. And you guys, through a very rigorous process of peer review, which is the highest form of recognition, when peers recognize the quality work you do, and then you ultimately get selected as the top campaign. And so you guys won the 2019 Best Locally Created Event with your Holiday Classic at Palm Beaches, and I couldn't be prouder of the work you've done. And you guys have always been on the leadership. You've kind of been that sleeping giant down south, and you kind of keep it that way, and I have a lot of appreciation for that. Give me a little bit of background on what the inspiration was for the idea for this basketball tournament when you started, and how has it grown over the last few years?
The idea of creating an event is something our sports commission has been talking about for several years. I believe it is an avenue that many sports commissions need to look at. It's a great alternative in terms of bidding and recruiting events, is creating your homegrown sporting event that creates tourism, sends a community message, and embraces the local community from a youth participation standpoint and an entertainment standpoint. And so our sports commission, we're a 501c3, we're a private organization that's contracted by the county to develop tourism through sports. Being a private entity consisting of a 17-member board of directors, we have great creativity and thought that goes into our annual marketing plans and our mission. And we knew that there was a big outreach from the local basketball community. Palm Beach County, South Florida in general, has incredibly rich high school sports here. Per capita, we send more of our high school kids to the NFL than any other county, and it's an incredible, shines an incredible spotlight on our community for sports. But we have an incredibly rich basketball culture here as well. Somewhat gets overshadowed by the football presence that I talked about. So we thought about, how do we leverage our ability to build sport properties, to create a tourism entity, to meet what we believe is a need and a desire. There's a great buildup and a groundswell of supports from our local community saying, let's do something to put basketball on a bigger scale. And then always trying to diversify our portfolio of events and being creative and trying to find alternative streams of revenues. We said, let's create a national high school basketball invitational. And that was the start of it. The steps we took was to create a committee that had local experts from the technical side of the game in our community, as well as media experts and event management experts that would complement our staff. So we created a committee. We identified partners and venues. We used 3 venues, and we created a platform. The idea was to have a 32-team tournament divided equally between boys and girls. We are now in our 4th year. What started out as a 24-team tournament because we fell short in year 1 has blossomed into a 32-team tournament where we have a wait list of teams trying to get into the Holiday Basketball Classic of the Palm Beaches. And over time, we've been able to field some of the top prep schools in the nation, along with some of the top prep players, both boys and girls. This past year, we had the 2nd-ranked high school basketball team in the country for girls. And that gave great validation to the demand and to the quality of a product that we're offering.
The most recent research we did among our membership is it's closing in on 60% now of the destinations have owned and operated. And it's a process, as you know. Everything you throw out there is not going to be profitable, and it's going to take time to build it, and you've gone through those steps. But one of the things I've been impressed with what you guys do down there in Palm Beach County is the marketing ingenuity and the intellect you have around the marketing area. And maybe Michael and Khoury can talk a little bit about some of the things that they bring to the party to help enrich on a marketing from grassroots up through the media side.
So traditionally, when we're marketing the destination, it's from a business-to-business perspective, like George mentioned. And that's a common practice among other sports commissions around the world. But what makes our sports commission unique is we wear multiple hats when it comes to marketing our destination. The Holiday Basketball Classic gives us a chance to switch gears from B2B into B2C. And in return, we get a better understanding of what our customers go through when they're marketing their events. We market the immediate need to play basketball against top talent from across the globe. Our marketing campaigns are successful because we understand our consumers' needs and we come up with a marketing strategy to give it to them. We've had some of the best teams in the nation come and play here in our destination, from Mount Verde a couple years ago to Paul the Sixth, the team that George mentioned. They're out of Virginia. We've even had the team who was coached by the governor of West Virginia, Greenbrier, out of nowhere. Like, we've had some of the best talent come through here. Overall, since the inception of the tournament, I believe we had over 20 Division I players. And now that I look at it, some of those players are in their senior year now. So soon we'll be able to say that we have players who've played in our tournament and now they're in the NBA. So be out on the lookout for that stuff.
Talk how you approach the marketing of this now that you're getting into a more seasoned event.
You know, we take a very holistic approach to our marketing in general. At the start of each event that we host, and this is one of 4 events that we own. But before we start the process, we start with sitting down and creating a very robust marketing plan and strategy. And that integrates all the different tools that we have in our quiver. We integrate social media into that. We integrate email into it, telephone calls. You know, for me, this is really in my wheelhouse. Before coming to the Sports Commission, I spent 11 years here in Palm Beach County as an event owner. So being able to bring those skill sets here and being able to market this event both nationally and this year even internationally, we really use all those different marketing tools that we have at our disposal to create a robust marketing strategy that has been very successful for us for the last 5 years.
You know, what are you going to do for an encore here? You know, where do you, first of all, where do you see this event going, and where do you see your continued effort to diversify your revenue down there, and where the opportunities exist?
That's an excellent question. I think the future is high. The ceiling is high for this event. Basketball tournaments are not easy to sustain. There's the game of basketball itself. From a tourism perspective, what we've looked at it. You know, boys basketball, you have less than 1 spectator per athlete, but on the girls' side, we make up for it. So we've seen our tourism impacts grow, and because we've developed a strong reputation, I do believe this event is very sustainable. Of course, 2020 has thrown the entire sports universe a curveball. This event, which traditionally and will still is scheduled to take place during the right after the Christmas holiday, December 27th through the 30th, right before New Year's. It's a great time to host a holiday basketball classic. We are reviewing all options. We intend to make modifications based on a new normal that the pandemic has delivered. Though it's still being reviewed. What I will say, and a credit to our Sports Commission team and especially Khoury, who is immersed with the basketball community, there is still great interest from teams across the country to participate. And so we're fielding those calls, and we are continuing to dialogue and educate them on what our status is. We plan to have a tournament in 2020. It will look different. Safety is our biggest priority, and so we will design a tournament that creates a safe and careful and very thoughtful pathway to success. And I know, Khoury, I think this week or last week, you were talking to a team from Puerto Rico that's wanting, I think, is with great intent to come to Palm Beach County to play, even during a pandemic. So it shows you that the demand is still there. In terms of the future, creating owned events it will be part of our fabric. This is, as Michael said, we do own 4 events. We founded a National College Football Award program that has been a big revenue generator for us. We've established a Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Fame. Every year, except for this year because of the pandemic. But prior to this year, almost 30 straight years at our sports commission, we've hosted a youth festival. And the last 15 years, it's been at our convention center. 5,000 children from across the county come and participate in sports. And it's our way of giving back to the local community, understanding if we're going to be hosting national tournaments 10 and 15 years from now, we need to be encouraging our youth to engage and embrace sports. And we cannot lose sight of that. So we understand the big picture, and I do believe that the number of events that we will own, if we talk in a couple of years, that number will increase, and I think it's a direction that is going to be very successful for us into the future.
Congratulations again to Palm Beach County Sports Commission for the great work you do for this tournament, the great work you do in the industry. One of the lead innovators, I personally believe, in the country. You've heard it first here on the owned and operated and the continued expansion, and it's really built on the fiber of the community demand, the great work you produce as a unit, as partners, and the outcome of the team you have working together. So congratulations again. We look forward to seeing you guys in Birmingham, and keep up the good work.